for today's webinar, the top 7 predictions for accounting and marketing by 2020. I'm Heather Frechette-Crowley, the Director of Product Marketing here at CPA Site Solutions. Before we get started, I just want to take a moment to review a few housekeeping items. All attendees are in listen-only mode, so if you have a question at any time throughout the webinar, please submit it via your dashboard and we'll take those at the end. I also want to mention that this webinar is being recorded and you should receive a link to the recording within 48 hours. As background, I want to let you know that we will be releasing a white paper this month that actually goes into detail on these 7 predictions. And this slide is an overview of what we'll cover in the next 30 minutes or so. We'll start by reviewing the rise in artificial intelligence and what your firm can do to take advantage of this. Then we'll discuss the trend of reduced trust in facts and how that can impact your firm. Next up, we'll talk about the push towards digital consumption and the role video will play in that, followed by trend 4, which really delves into the value of paid content. The next trend focuses on the prevalence of mobile use, and we'll then discuss how the digital front has shaped clients' expectations. We'll wrap up with trend 7, which describes the millennial generation and their role as both clients and employees. We'll get started with the first trend, which is machine learning will increase automation of accounting tasks, which sounds very futuristic, but what does it really mean for you? While artificial intelligence or AI might sound scary, we actually already depend on it daily. From cars and smartphones to online banking and in-home devices, AI has changed the way we live, positively for the most part, by helping us become more efficient. While accountants have certainly benefited from AI in the form of software that automates redundant tasks like data entry and record management, the technologies have generally been single-minded and not complex, meaning that they cannot learn from the data. Not surprisingly, there has been growing interest as well as rapid advancement in using artificial intelligence to perform smart tasks. These are tasks that normally require human intelligence. But this doesn't mean that you're at risk of being replaced by a robot just yet. Predictions really see AI as being an invaluable tool, a tool that will allow accountants to work more efficiently and focus on providing more in-depth analysis and insight. For example, while AI sorts tremendous amounts of data, this is going to free up time for you that you can direct towards thoughtful analysis. So what can you do now to ensure that your firm is poised to take advantage of AI? First, it's important to recognize that artificial intelligence isn't a set it and forget it technology. As firms begin to implement new systems, it's essential to be aware of what exactly is being delegated to artificial intelligence. As a best practice, firms should create procedures and policies for monitoring AI performance, for looking at the system as a whole, and really standards of auditing the system's performance. The second trend covers the overall reduction in trust of facts and experts that's been exhibited by society relatively recently. The fact is, fake news is really everywhere today. Where once it perhaps was relegated to social media, it's really moved beyond. And this type of environment breeds suspicion, which means that your clients today are more skeptical than ever. This also makes building a trustworthy brand critical to your firm's success. Specifically because trust will slowly cease to be automatically afforded based on titles or credentials, and instead will be rooted in a client's personal experience with you. So rather than being trusted implicitly because of your degree or years in business, you will need to gain trust by providing repeated positive experiences. And this starts with the first touch point. Since the majority of your clients' first impressions are formed online, it's essential to create a brand that projects the right persona. A professional, updated website is key, but that's no longer enough. Establishing credibility through educational social media posts and blog articles are great ways to build your reputation as a trusted thought leader. We also don't want to overlook the obvious here, which is certainly to provide a great customer experience. And transparency is one of the most important components in that customer experience. So you want to make sure that clients understand what you're providing, what the benefit is, and how the associated costs break down. Definitely ensure that this is handled up front to avoid any confusion or hard feelings as you get further down the road. Additionally, as we depend on online research more than ever before, online reviews are becoming increasingly important. As you can see by the statistic on the screen, 88% of people trust an online review as much as a personal recommendation. So ensure that that area is covered. Don't leave that out. Trend number 3, the growth of digital consumption, is really evident everywhere you look. Because we are all connected, we are always consuming digital content. From young to old, we have become essentially obsessed with content. Even a moment in line prompts us to take out our phones. The same is true during our commute or right before bed, or even if there's a brief lull in the conversation. And with content being easier than ever to create, you can really use this trend to your benefit. Take the opportunity to create educational videos, which is going to help you stand out from the competition. Now, YouTube might be the first place you think of for video, but that platform is actually facing steep competition from videos that are shared directly through Facebook. And predictions indicate that by 2020, video engagement will be more evenly split across these and other channels. So we suggest taking your content to the next level, either with a dedicated YouTube page that addresses frequently asked questions your clients have. You can use simple video production tools like iMovie or Camtasia. The built-in YouTube video editing tools are really handy. Adobe Spark, which is actually a new free tool that lets you make simple social media ready videos with virtually no experience. And that comes with plenty of stock footage. So they're really making this type of technology accessible. Again, we suggest promoting videos on your social media pages, your website, your blogs, anywhere you want clients and prospects to engage. The next trend covers the importance of paid content and how it's increasingly crowding out organic content. As we previously mentioned, content is everywhere. And with its mass accessibility also comes the challenge of standing out. And this is also true on social media platforms, which is why Facebook and others have algorithms that determine what users see. And predictions indicate that by 2020, all popular social channels will actually be fully pay to play, with organic posts reaching far fewer people without an associated paid promotion. Further underscoring this prediction is the newsfeed update that Facebook announced on January 11th of this year. Facebook changed its algorithm in an effort to prioritize posts that create conversations and spark meaningful interactions. Now, this means that people will see fewer posts and content from brands and businesses. So what does this mean for accounting firms? Well, impact will definitely vary. Businesses who share posts that don't generally elicit comments or interaction will see the largest decrease in distribution, while those who create conversation will see less of an effect. To minimize the impact, we suggest firms focus on posting content that is relevant and creates engagement among their audience. Firms can also encourage followers to adjust their individual news feed preferences to include the firm page under things that they see first. Now, as I mentioned, this is a new change. It was just announced last month. It will take several months for this change to completely roll out. So we will definitely keep you posted on basically how it impacts the market and if Facebook walks this change back at all. Trend 5 highlights the continuing shift towards mobile technology. As the functionality of smartphones increases, the benefits of a desktop computer or a laptop are decreasing, especially for those who don't attend school full-time or necessarily work in the white-collar sector. So this means when the majority of the market looks up an accountant or books an appointment, they're often doing it from that little screen in their hand. So that screen is going to display your full-size desktop website differently than you may have intended. This move to mobile requires more thought to the placement and amount of content on your website. It means you need to include easy-to-follow calls to action and one-tap appointment scheduling and calls to your front desk. If a site or landing page isn't easy to use on a phone, many potential clients are just going to hit the back button and look for a different firm. Everyone is pressed for time today, and it's not likely that they will take the additional minutes needed to navigate your site. As a general rule of thumb, you should really look to fully redesign your website every 3 to 5 years, simply to keep up with modern pace and to revamp any outdated content. Consult your web host to ensure that your website is mobile friendly. It needs to load quickly and be optimized really for great user experience across devices. This means having some friendly buttons and navigation. So again, you want to make sure that your website is easily accessible across all devices. The next trend delves into how society's reliance on technology has really shaped your clients' expectations. The abundance and availability of content, combined with our reliance on technology, has changed client expectations and really increased client demands. Across industries, clients have come to expect a seamless, convenient experience, both before and after the sale. So essentially, we want immediate gratification, whether that's an answer to a question via live chat on your website or the ability to reach your firm with the click of a button. And statistics show that failure to keep up with these expectations can be detrimental to your firm's success. 30% of customers who don't receive a response within 4 hours will go to a competitor. So to keep up with this new norm and meet client expectations, you need to have a mobile-first approach, no doubt. Again, this means your website needs to be mobile responsive so it doesn't lose any functionality when viewed on a smartphone or tablet. It also means you should invest in integrated systems that provide that streamlined experience and deliver convenience at every touch point. The final trend describes the millennial generation and their role as both clients and employees. Now, while the numbers may surprise you, by 2020, millennials will actually account for more than 1 in 3 adults. And by 2025, they'll make up 3/4 of the workforce. And as more millennials become tax-paying adults, they're turning to accountants for their needs. That said, it's important to note that millennials operate much differently than other generations, and they have different expectations of businesses. As we move forward, companies that emphasize corporate philanthropy and have a strong sense of purpose will thrive. And at the same time, firms of all sizes will be expected to keep up with ever-changing technology. To ensure your firm is positioned to both serve millennials and work with them, it's important to be up to date and remain flexible. Make sure you have the right technology in place that encourages mobile usage and paperless communication. Things like client portals fall into this category. You can also increase transparency of your firm by building a strong social media presence through educational articles and posts, as well as updates about your firm that really showcase your company culture. When hiring millennials, look at your current office policies and identify any areas that can be updated to make your firm a more appealing place to work. Can you offer flexible hours or the ability to work remotely? The more flexibility that you can offer, the more attractive your firm becomes to this generation. So as we close and really look back on this, the fact is the future has now become today. And it's more important than ever to really embrace technology and leverage it to provide a convenient, seamless client experience. As I mentioned when we kicked off, we will be publishing a white paper later this month that details these 7 trends. So keep your eye out, because this asset will be available for complimentary download from our resources page. And with that, I will open it up to any questions. So please feel free to submit them through your dashboard if you haven't already. And also, as I mentioned, you will receive an email with a link to this recording within 48 hours. So I'm just going to open up our questions here. Great. So how does my firm build trust in the marketplace? That's a good question. First and foremost, obviously provide great service across the board. Another way to really expand that is through social media, through posts that really talk about the services you provide from a thought leader position. So educational posts. It's a great idea to create blog articles talking about hot trends, maybe most common deductions, things that really generate engagement. Also, based on the number of video programs that are available, as we mentioned, it's a great time to really jump into that realm. And that's also going to increase your visibility with the millennial generation and really across the board. Let's see here. Great. It doesn't look like I have any additional questions. So at this point, again, I just want to say thank you for attending. I hope you found it helpful, and look out for the recording as well as that white paper to be published. Thank you so much.